The Nightbeat starts right now.
This weekend, there's going to be a party with a purpose along the St. Mary Strip.
For years, businesses along the area have suffered, some because of COVID, others because of construction projects, and for many, suffering from both of those things. And even though the closures that plagued that area for years are now gone, businesses there are still not booming. So as the Night Team's Patty Santos shows us, businesses in the area are hoping that a party that's happening tomorrow is going to help to bring their groove back.
This is a new beginning, I feel like.
I feel that way too, and I hope so. A rebirth, I guess.
Co-owner of the Gallery Club, Randy Simpson, is trying to make sure San Antonio's original entertainment district isn't forgotten.
We wanted to let the people know the construction is over, the St. Mary Strip is alive, the party is here.
The Bash is a Rock the Block party, Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. It's an effort by 24 bars, shops, and restaurant owners to revive the St. Mary Strip.
Can I get a pastor torta?
Go where the locals go. This is the local scene. We have foods of all ethnicities. We have music of every genre.
Simpson says it's also a celebration for the businesses still standing.
How difficult was it to imagine during COVID and during construction that this would all be done and that you would be here welcoming the crowds back to party with you guys?
It's funny because I think the construction was more painful than COVID.
Amp Room owner Danny Badiola says most returning customers had not heard that construction is over, even though it wrapped up last September.
The streets are nice, lights, and everything's ready to go. We just need to get the people back.
Starting this weekend, he says competitors will work together so everyone wins.
Well, St. Mary Strip has been around since the 80s and the 90s. So hopefully we can keep it that way and give it more decades to come.
Thank you, everyone, for supporting the St. Mary Strip.
Patty Santos.
So let's rock the block.
KSAT 12 News.
Now happening right now, another round of traffic closures just went into effect a little more than an hour ago. TxDOT closing parts of I-10 at Loop 1604, and this is going to impact your commute on the northwest side of town. It's all part of the Loop 1604 North Expansion project, and these closures are set to be lifted Monday at 5 in the morning. Lots more closures and detours to tell you about. We have a full list for you on KSAT.com.
New on the Nightbeat, a second arrest made in a botched shoe sale that ended in a deadly shooting. This is 17-year-old Diego Salazar. He was arrested by BCSO deputies on a warrant for murder. He's believed to have been the driver for the first suspect who was arrested. This is 18-year-old Daniel Hernandez walking in front of our cameras after he was arrested this past Saturday. The sheriff's office says Hernandez went to his friend, 18-year-old Ricky De Los Santos' house to buy some shoes. He ended up shooting him. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says De Los Santos was able to give them Hernandez's name as he was dying. A former cheerleading coach going to prison for the next 5 years. That sentence was handed down to Lex Luis Bazan yesterday. Lex Bazan was arrested in 2021 after a security guard at Lavernia High School caught him trespassing. He reportedly told the guard he was there visiting one of his cheerleaders. That cheerleader told police he was there to give her the Plan B pill because Bazan was sexually assaulting her. He ultimately accepted a plea deal, allowing him to plead guilty in exchange for just 5 years in prison.
Now she's facing a life sentence in the death of her 4-year-old stepson. Today, the trial of Miranda Cáceres continued with testimony from the Bexar County medical examiner who performed the autopsy on Benjamin Cervera. Now, she backed up her statement that little boy died of starvation. She said that pepper seeds were the only thing she found in that boy's stomach. Yesterday, Benjamin's brother said that Cáceres would force the little boy to eat hot sauce along with hand sanitizer, even toilet water.
And taken in with everything else, the medical records, the autopsy findings, the lack of disease processes, then yes, it fits together that this appears to be a homicide.
If Cáceres is found guilty, she faces life in prison. Court records show that Benjamin's dad is going to stand trial next month.
To a developing story now, at least one person dead, 13 others hurt after a semi-trailer driver intentionally crashed into a DPS office right outside of Houston. Happened in the town of Brenham. According to law enforcement, 42-year-old Clenard Parker allegedly crashed into the building where his renewal for a commercial driver's license was rejected. Right now, authorities are not saying what charges Parker will face. The Texas Rangers are handling this investigation.
So now let's go to your Nightbeat news flash. In Dallas, lots of questions after a student was shot in a classroom. Happened this morning at Wilmer Hutchins High School in the Dallas ISD. The Dallas Morning News is reporting that another student opened fire. The victim suffered a non-life-threatening injury in the upper thigh. And as of tonight, the alleged shooter is in custody. A San Antonio police detective has been suspended for 15 days after multiple incidents of unprofessional behavior at the Bexar County Justice Center. That's according to city discipline records. Detective Steven Rivas was involved in the incidents, and Rivas is going to be suspended from May 4th through the 18th. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
The city is hoping these new stickers will help you ahead of Fiesta in the coming days. So coming up tonight at the Nightbeat, we're talking about construction downtown and how it might impact your trip over the next couple of weeks.
And we'll hear from Avery in a little bit, but first we want to show you the big drop at the Riverwalk today as the barges for this year's Texas Cavaliers River Parade were placed in the water. 30 barges in all will be decorated and outfitted with Fiesta colors and symbols. Some 200 volunteers working to get everything ready for the parade that's set to take place April 22nd. The Texas Cavaliers continuing their mission to raise money for causes that help children throughout South Texas. The parade, an annual tradition that Fiesta fans certainly look forward to.
Really exciting. Our floats get better and better every year. This year there'll be more lights, more smoke, more special features, and a surprise here and there.
He says the Cavaliers River Parade draws some 200,000 people down to the Riverwalk to watch it live. And if you can't make it down there, we got you covered. KSAT will be airing it live at 7 p.m. Our coverage will begin during KSAT 12 News at 6 that night with the military pre-party.
Also, you see that QR code? Scan it with your phone because it'll show you how to get tickets to Fiesta watch parties exclusively for our KSAT insiders. We're having a Battle of Flowers party and another one for Flambeau, so you can get your tickets right now.
Bring your medical equipment, hospital beds, wheelchairs, rollators, walkers, anything like that. Drive through, drop it off, stay, enjoying the fun.
It's been a big day for us here at KSAT.
Yeah, we teamed up with our KSAT community partners for a phone bank benefiting Project Mend. That nonprofit helps people who can't afford medical mobility equipment. You can pick it up, wheelchairs, scooters. So many of you called. I want to thank you for that. We want to let you know that all the equipment goes to people in San Antonio who have a need. Today's phone bank was all leading up to a big event happening on Sunday. You can roll, stroll, walk, and play pickleball during Viva Mobility. It's a community resource fair at Morgan's Sports Complex, and there will be lots of activities. You can bring gently used medical equipment like wheelchairs, walkers, all to help those in need. And be sure to tune in to GMSA on Sunday because we're going to be there live during our 8 a.m. hour.
Also this weekend, the San Antonio Book Festival. You'll be able to check out more than 100 authors from Texas and the country. That is tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Central Library.
All week on GMSA, we've been sharing previews of some of the authors attending the event. You can see all those stories on KSAT.com, and we'll be there live tomorrow morning as well from 8 to 10 a.m., the San Antonio Book Festival.
Now, just a reminder that San Antonio Pets is having an adoption special this weekend. You're not going to pay fees if you adopt dogs and puppies from SAPA's Rescue Center on Marbach Road. Right now, there are tons of animals who are there looking for a home. All animals adopted from SAPA are up to date on vaccinations. They're spayed or neutered, microchipped. Again, the special is only this weekend, so take advantage of it.
Yeah, for decades, San Antonio has been known as Military City USA. Well, that legacy will continue this fall with a big convention. We're going to tell you more about it next on the Nightbeat.
Plus, we've got a couple of changes that move in over the next few days, especially when it comes to the humidity. We're going to tell you how that affects the weekend, plus a few isolated storm chances in the forecast next week. We're going to break down those details after the break.
These are things that you see all over town. Barricades, detours, cones.
Yeah, with so many shut down sidewalks and construction projects underway less than a week before Fiesta, people are asking whether they'll be safe. Can they get where they need to be?
That's right. The night team's Avery Everett takes us to South Alamo, where businesses and people alike say that it's just a burden to just cross the street.
To keep up with the dinner rush, the team at Ola turns up the heat. It can get pretty loud in here. But not every noise heard in these walls is one that's wanted.
As soon as the people go out there and start hearing the hammers or the noises that the construction is making, they go back.
When did construction start to become a problem for your business?
As soon as it began.
This project on South Alamo Street is still in progress after starting 2 years ago. And it's not the only one. Downtown is flooded with cones and construction sites, all ahead of Fiesta. But the city says these are all necessary.
If we don't rebuild those, we are going to have come summertime, water break, sewer line may not function.
Problem is, pedestrians don't know where to go. In just 1 hour standing on the side of this street, we saw multiple people crossing illegally and dangerously.
Right now, these sidewalks here between Cesar y Chavez and South Alamo Street are blocked off to pedestrians. So if you're planning on walking through here during Fiesta, you'll have to walk nearly 400 feet down the street just to cross at this intersection.
Locals and tourists alike say all this construction is causing safety concerns.
It's been a little bit scary with all these cars honking and going, driving all over the place.
All the roads are blocked off, and we had to walk about half a mile to cross a pedestrian walkway and get to where we wanted to go.
One of the city's solutions is for people to look down so that you can look up directions on where you need to go.
Along Market and Cesar y Chavez, you'll see these signs pointing you where to walk. But traffic is still something to be aware of ahead of next week.
Our recommendation is really take a public transportation.
With a couple of days left before Fiesta, construction isn't going to wrap up.
It's actually quite inconvenient.
The people traveling through San Antonio say they won't let it affect their Fiesta.
Yep, not gonna stop me from having fun.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It's adorable. We have to say that.
It's not going to stop her from having fun.
No, she knows what she likes.
She's got her bucket hat and she's on a mission.
She's ready.
That's right. All right. Well, San Antonio's Military City, USA, and now it'll be the host city for the 2024 Congressional Medal of Honor Society Convention. It's going to happen later this year.
And that announcement was made today at the historic Hangar 9 at Brooks. The Medal of Honor, as you know, is the country's highest award for military valor in action. And right now, 66 Medal of Honor recipients are still living. 45 of them are expected to be at that convention.
I just want to say I am internally grateful that we're having this here. And my love for San Antonio began 55 years ago when I trained to be a combat medic for Vietnam. And I have so many stories I could tell you about how compassionate and loving and kind this community was to me then. And I'm sure it's only gotten better since then.
The convention will be held September 29th through October 5th. Now, during their visit, the Medal of Honor Society will be making visits to our schools and military hospitals to share their tales of heroism.
Love that. You know, for the past few days, I've been seeing a lot of people eating their lunch outside, enjoying that. And I'm thinking, ooh, I'm glad that they're doing that because it's going to get humid soon.
Yeah, that's going to be the big story heading into the weekend. Another batch of that Gulf moisture quickly works into south central Texas. Let's get you right to those weather headlines because that is going to allow for a different feel over the next couple of days compared to what we've seen the past several days. So that humidity works back in, warmer mornings, so not quite as cool, and also some patchy morning fog, not completely ruled out in spots as early as tomorrow morning. Then as we head into next week, few isolated storm chances not out of the question. We'll also start to see those temperatures warm up through the middle of the week and then monitoring the potential to see another cold front work in near the start of some of those Fiesta events. We're going to talk all about it, starting off, though, with the humidity increase. Right now, we'll look at dew points, which is how we measure that low-level moisture in the atmosphere, in the 40s and 50s for most of us, so still in that dry to pleasant range. Not too bad whenever you step outside. Still somewhat pleasant tomorrow, but really by Sunday, for the back half of the weekend's plans, you are going to notice more of that muggy feel whenever you do step step outdoors, and that will carry over into much of next week with some of that moisture working its way back in, especially across portions of the hill country. First thing tomorrow morning, again, a few areas of patchy fog, not completely off the table, but by mid to late morning, that's going to clear on out of here. Because of that moisture, also notice your morning lows not quite as cool as what we saw. For instance, this morning, our low temperature in San Antonio was 52. I think tomorrow morning we start off near 60 degrees, 7 a.m. Saturday. Still some mid to upper 50s, though, especially as you get into the hill country, some of the higher elevations, 57 for places like Comfort, Bandera, 62, though, in Pleasanton, stretching over to Floresville and even Nixon to kickstart the day. Again, mostly cloudy skies with a little bit of brief fog, certainly possible. But notice by lunchtime, already seeing a little bit more of that sunshine, partly cloudy skies into the afternoon. 72 degrees, the forecast temperature for lunchtime plans. High temperatures topping off somewhat similar to what we've seen the past couple of days. 84 degrees expected tomorrow in the Alamo City, 82 up in Canyon Lake, 84 out east in Seguin. Down Highway 90, 85 for places like Hondo, 86 in Sabinal, 85 over in Rio Medina. Looking ahead to your Sunday, notice more of that humidity, so not quite as cool yet again. 65 degrees to start the day with more of that morning fog. You will notice more of the humidity and added cloud cover for the second half of the weekend. After that, that's when we start to monitor what is right now just a few isolated chances for rain. The first one really moving in on Tuesday. Sure, a few sprinkles, not completely off the table into Monday morning with some more of that fog. But then Thursday into Friday, as we start to see this cold front approach south central Texas, maybe a couple of storms there too. So let's talk about the setup. Again, a low pressure system right now, the same area of low pressure that brought the rain and storms to our neck of the woods earlier this week. That's sparking more scattered rain across the New England states just east of the Great Lakes. That's going to continue to work east out of the lower 48. Then we start to see a high pressure system influence our weather pattern here at home Sunday and into Monday. But it's the second little low pressure system sweeping across the central plains by the middle of next week that could start to allow that cold front to move into the state of Texas by Thursday. So I know it's Fiesta, and then we really start to get those Fiesta events going into next week. Again, just an isolated chance right now, but as we fine tune the details, the exact timing, the exact strength, that's going to be something to check back on here in the days ahead. But until then, a look outside with live cam. Yes, we've got some high level clouds in place, still feeling pretty nice. But again, that humidity will be on the rise as we head into the weekend, guys.
And forget that. Thank you.
All right, now we get to the feisty before the Fiesta. The Spurs take down the defending champs.
Yes, they do, and the defending champs Denver probably came into the Alamo City expecting a win. They certainly needed one against the shorthanded Spurs, but Devontae Graham had a different idea. The Spurs avoid tying their worst record in franchise history. Speaking of history, Tiger Woods makes more of it at the Masters. Stay with us.
Means I have a chance going in the weekend. I'm here. I got a chance to win the golf tournament.
Weekend as you look through his.
Tiger Woods easily made the 36-hole cut at the Masters for a record 24th consecutive year. The 48-year-old is one over par, very much in contention as he seeks his 6th green jacket in big board sports. Spotted on the hardwood tonight at Frost Bank Center, Cowboys All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons. And the Spurs certainly put on a show for the Lion. Devontae Graham hit a stunning game winner with time expiring to lift the San Antonio Spurs past the defending champion Denver Nuggets. Let's see how it happened. Denver desperately trying to hold on to the top spot in the West. Spurs trailed by as many as 23 points until Victor Wembanyama put on a clinic in the third quarter after fueling an 8-0 Spurs run all by himself. Wemby then hit back-to-back transition threes. The Frost erupted. Fast forward to the final 30. Graham makes it a 1-point game. Then on the other end, Spurs get a stop. So Trey Jones pushes it up to Graham, and Graham sinks the floater over Murray with 0.9 seconds left. Spurs win 121-120. Wemby had 34 points, Mamu had 21, and Graham 11.
Just seeing Trey get the ball, and I was already kind of ahead of everybody because everybody had went to crash. And I was just hoping he threw it ahead. At first, I wanted to shoot the three, of course, but I was just like, get to the basket, try to get fouled since we was only down one. Just thankful we went in.
Timberwolves won tonight, so here's a quick look at the West. It's a 3-way tie. The ferocious winds at Augusta National made for an entertaining second day of the 88th Masters Tournament. Tiger Woods on 18 rolls in the par putt to stay at 1 over. The Masters cut settled at +6, which makes Woods the all-time consecutive cut record holder with 24. Just remarkable. In Woods' same group, Max Homa continued to impress in front of his idol. The wind prevents his birdie attempt on the final hole. Homa is tied for first at 6 under after 2 rounds. Bryson DeChambeau fired a 65 in the opening round and continued to handle the difficult conditions better than most, giving top-ranked Scottie Scheffler a run for his money. Scheffler never able to fully separate himself on the leaderboard, but still very much playing well. Here's the leaderboard again. The cut settled at 6 over. Defending champion Jon Rahm is at +5. The Bernie boys soccer team carried an unblemished record into their UIL Class 4A state final matchup against San Elizario today. Although the Greyhounds title run came to an abrupt end as San Elizario's lone goal in the second half helped them to a 1-0 victory over Bernie for the state crown. Hats off to the Greyhounds. Their team, led by 8 seniors, have plenty to be proud of. All right, coming up, we'll hear from an Olympian who took some time to speak with some of San Antonio's young swimmers. Welcome back. USA Swimming is in town this week, and over at Northside Swim Center tonight, an Olympian took some time to speak to some of San Antonio's young swimmers. Nick Fink was the special guest at tonight's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion event. Fink is a 5-time world champion in the breaststroke and currently holds 2 world records. But getting to share lessons he's learned along his journey is another prize by itself.
It's kind of cool to remind yourself that we all come from different lifestyles, different swimming backgrounds, even different athletic backgrounds. And when you go to things like this, you get to meet all sorts of people, and you realize that any one of them could end up being the next big thing in swimming. And just kind of maybe hammering in some of the things that I've learned over my career is something that I like passing on to the next generation.
After the talk, the kids saw more Olympians compete, like gold medalists Katie Ledecky and Simone Manuel, and the experience inspired one adorable local swimmer.
It makes me want to push harder, go to more meets, and try my best, and hopefully get to a level where he is, or try to be as good as him or something. I just want to go to the Olympics, or maybe even just swim for fun.
This was the last major competition before the Olympic trials, as many of the swimmers that competed tonight will look to be on Team USA in Paris this summer. I love it. What an opportunity to get more kids involved with the sport.
Well, Katie Ledecky, she's a legend. Already.
And she was here in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And Bailey, we're going to see you around, girl. We'll be watching out for you.
Keep going. Yeah.
Keep going. I love that. We'll be right back.
Brief patchy fog possible first thing tomorrow morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon. High temperatures topping off in the mid-80s. Once again, more humidity in store Sunday and into early next week. A few isolated rain chances. We'll monitor that front as we get closer to the kickoff of Fiesta.
All right, my friends, thank you for sticking with us the entire week. Have a wonderful weekend. You've earned it.
See you on Monday.
Good night.